Hey guys, welcome to our 1900 Oso project here in Oklahoma City in Wheeler District, just about a mile from downtown. Come on in. Something really important to note is just the context of where this house is. It's a very urban house, meaning that the lots are very narrow, so the house is much longer than it is wide. So one thing that we do in situations like this, where we've got our living, kitchen, and dining, you really have to have an open floor plan for it to feel big. When you walk in the front door, it's really nice to be able to see the back of the house and light out of the back of the house. But how do you make it feel like an open floor plan and big while still feeling like different spaces? And that's where we often put these big brick arches in. And that does multiple things, where we're bringing this beautiful architectural detail inside. And also, as you walk through here, you actually feel like you're transitioning into a different room, even though, it's still part of the same big, great room. It's just a really nice way to break up the house. Our living room, we really like to make it feel big and bright, and you can see the warmth of the brick. It feels cozy. You want to pull up a book and light a fire, but it also feels bright with all the natural light. And so we've got our fireplace. It's a really nice architectural detail here, and this really cool old world pellet stove. And we've got reeded glass on the sides. We've got this great hardware, and we're really picky about the hardware we use. We like things that we can, that feel really good to the touch, and these are cast brass solid latches that are actually hand finished, and so they call it a living finish that will actually slowly patina over time. It was interesting trying to find the right scale of chandelier for this room. A lot of times we don't go with the big chandelier, but in this space we felt like we needed something big. So this is actually 72 inches, which is pretty large, but it's also very minimal, so it doesn't feel too heavy. Even though it comes down just a little ways, and we actually were having to cut this on site because when we were installing it, it was just hanging too low. But that's really one of the themes of this house is every little thing has been thought about, debated, and selected. And even for example, here under the stairs, when we're kind of dreaming up what to do under here, I was frankly thinking about like my own family and how we would use the space, my wife and our little 3.5-year-old girl, and just how cool of a space that would be to just cuddle up and read books with as a family on a rainy day. And we still got, we're always, because we're living in a smaller house, so we want to fit storage wherever we can and just use every little bit of space. So that's why we've got storage underneath here. We've done a cool, we actually have storage in here. It's not cleaned out, but we really pack everything we can in these houses. This front door right here is really cool. It's a 100-year-old reclaimed door from an architectural salvage shop. And even, the hardware we've gotten is this great finished brass. And even these hinges, if you look at these hinges, really, really cool, pretty details. So, this front door, we didn't even buy for this house. Sometimes we'll just walk through architectural salvage shops. We'll be shopping on Etsy, or we'll just see something and we'll just buy it and we'll store it. And then we figure out where to put it. So that front door, when we were starting to build this house, it was like, oh, this front door is perfect for this house. And so we couldn't wait to build it. And so we build the house to fit the door. And there's a lot of things like that. We found this even newel post right here. And this is a Roman goddess Minerva on here, just this 100-year-old newel post that, once again, just adds all sorts of history and a different feeling to the house. We really we think a lot about lighting, and you can see how a lot of the light is bouncing off these walls, and we have some recessed lighting in here, and largely that's in some ways for buyers, but we really tried to design our houses where you don't have to have any recessed lighting for the house to function, because it's better. You want to light surfaces, not air. You want areas of light and shadow. That's what makes architecture in places interesting, not having everything lit up evenly. That's what an office is. So in here, this is interesting. We were thinking about these beams were kind of a late addition. We were standing in here and just going, man, we really need something in here. And we had to shift some lights around, but we're so glad we added these beams. They really make this whole area in here. And this bar is really cool. We were originally just gonna do a buffet table, but thinking more about it, really building it into the house and having this kind of long, narrow bar and these open shelves above going across the window, we really love how this turned out. So we had a local craftsman actually build this table for this house, and then also had him create this really nice red oak butcher block, and you can see just how thick this is. You know, this isn't the thin strips of wood. You know, some of the things we think about are these pendants are hanging down here over the island, so over the dining we don't want to have a chandelier because it would be like chandelier in the living room hanging low, chandelier in here, pendants here, so that's why we went with these flush mounts up here, these porcelain flush mounts. And really the style I would say this really turned into is almost like a European farmhouse, which was not the original intent. Originally I was thinking this could be a little more industrial, but right when we were starting this house, our brick that we were going to use went from 4-week lead times to 12-month lead times. It was in the middle of COVID. And so we ended up having to find a brick that we could just get on the spot. And so we found a beautiful reclaimed brick out of Kansas from a building coming down. And that's what this is. So this is a 100-year-old brick in here. And that's one of the reasons it's just so rich and so much patina, because it already has a story. It already has history to it. We got, you know, this was a very prominent faucet because it's kind of centered on the house right when you walk in. So we got this beautiful bridge faucet that's actually unlacquered brass. So that is also a living finish that you can already see how it's aging and changing and kind of a modeled look to it. And just, I love how standing here, you know, at the sink, looking out into the back courtyard, just how beautiful that is. It's not a big yard you're looking out into, but this beautiful courtyard, and you've got this green, and you've got the colors of the flowers and the plants, and then the lights in the background. It's a really lovely feel. And so even though we're in a really tight urban environment in here, when you're standing in here, you don't feel like there's other houses all around you, because the way we've designed it, we've been very careful with our window placements so that it feels both bright and private. We love these doors. So these are some doors we found that are from Morocco, actually, and we repainted them. And we've got our pantry behind here. And even though it's a small room, we love playing with patterns to make them something special. So we did this wainscot all the way around, this beautiful wallpaper that pairs with the brick. And we even did the trim in here green, so it's kind of green on green. And it turned out really beautifully. And no overhead lighting, just these two pendants hanging down that let off this glow. And you can see how the light bounces around the room. So the way these houses work is this is actually a detached garage that we've covered. So this is the house, this is the garage over here. And you actually access the garage off the alley. So there's no garages off the front of the houses. And one of the other cool things it does is it frames in this room. And while it's not huge, this is not a yard, it's really an exterior room. And what's so cool about exterior rooms is you can decorate them easily. You can make them really, really special. And while we haven't done a lot of staging out here, you can just see just with the landscaping right here, you can imagine a long table, a little fireplace outside, a grill out here. It could be a really beautiful outdoor area. And going back to how we think about every little thing we do. So even this grate right here, rather than just pick up some grate at Lowe's, we're scouring the internet to find something beautiful to go here, because we want everything to be a moment. So you can see this, these brick corbels right here, and they're decorative. They actually hold our floor system, which is why you see them stopping right here. And we love it because it's this beautiful architectural detail. It kind of feels like crown molding, but it's actually holding up the floor. We do lots of things like picture lights because they, once again, they light up the architecture and paintings in a different way than just overhead lighting. We love niches and things like that. So this is the landing. We've got 3 beds. This is a 3-bed house. And there's 2 bathrooms up here with the powder downstairs. Here is the master suite in here. So we've got true reclaimed beams in here, and we call these clear story windows where they're up a little higher because there's a house over there, and so we want lots of light coming in, but we want it to feel private too, so we put these clear story windows and these bigger windows off the back where we know it is more private. And then in here into the bathroom. We love how this bathroom turned out. So we have this beautiful bluestone floor, tumbled bluestone floor out of Belgium. And then our Carrara marble shower and our great clawfoot tub in here. And we decided to go be a little bold, and we went green on green. So you'll notice that the walls and the trim are green and the doors and even the ceiling is green. And we did a slightly contrasting green on the ceiling on the beadboard. You'll notice that all the exterior walls are exposed brick, and that's not just an aesthetic thing. We didn't paste up thin brick on the interior. This is what we call a structural masonry house. So there's no 2x4s, no 2x6s, no plywood in our exterior walls. It's 3 layers thick of brick with insulation sandwiched in between. Why do we do that? Well, it's really what we would call pre-war building, in terms of we used to build this way out of structural masonry, and all the oldest buildings in the world are built out of some form of structural masonry. So if you go to your downtown and go to the local coffee shop or some old tavern or repurposed warehouse, you'll see exposed brick on the inside, and that's because the walls are actually made out of brick. That is the structure. So that's what we're doing here. And the benefit, on top of being beautiful and fireproof and soundproof and all that, is that it's just so beautiful, because brick is the size it is to fit the human hand. And there's 90,000 plus brick in this house. So all these little brick laid by hand, and the walls tell stories. You can see it, you can feel it. And the light plays off every brick just a little bit differently. Every mortar joint's a little bit different. So we love how these homes feel, because they really do have this coziness to them that also feels bright and welcoming. We sandblast some of our brick and just throw them in the pile of bricks, and they get laid at the house. So I actually spotted that just yesterday and realized, oh, there it is. And there's other ones hidden throughout the house that maybe people will stumble upon one day. Some people think of us as the brick guys because we specialize in masonry and structural masonry. And that's true, we are. We love brick as a medium, but really we are composers of entire buildings and houses and feelings. You know, we design the floor plan, every detail of the house. We oversee the execution. We're in here with the trim carpenters, working out every little detail and making selections and obsessing over what pendants are right over the island. And in that way, we really treat each house, it's a piece of art. It is something completely unique. And part of it being a piece of art is it's a story. And what I mean by that is, we don't walk into the house when we're breaking ground on the foundation. We don't know what every detail in the house is going to look like. We have some ideas, right? Maybe we had this idea for the kitchen, a vision for it, and we build other things around it. But what we say is, we say letting the story unfold over time, rather than trying to impose this thing onto the world, rather than trying to have everything worked out and then the next 12 months is just executing exactly what you had planned out, exactly what light fixtures going where. We like to leave room for creativity, leave room for things to change. And a good example is under the stairs that we showed you. We weren't really sure what we were gonna do there. You know, we were gonna do a desk, we were gonna do a bench, and then this idea really just felt right for the house, something cozy to curl up in. And I don't know if you've heard of the slow food movement, but this is kind of like that, like the slow house movement, in that everything is intentional. Everything has thought put into it. And when you do that, you get something extraordinary. It's not just a house, it's a home. that is it for the tour. This is the first structural masonry house built in Oklahoma City in probably the past 100 years, and we hope the first of many more to come. We actually have another project we'll be showing you in 6 or 8 weeks or so, and we look forward to keeping you guys up to date. Thanks for following along. Please like and subscribe, and see you next time.